Okay, I saw the highlights. I had to do a video about none other than AIDAN Robbins out of BYU. Guys, this is one of my favorite undrafted free agents in this year's UDFA class. Totally should have went drafted, had an injury his senior year, but man, he is back healthy. And man, if you miss players like Jerome Bettis, if you miss players like Brandon Jacobs, if you miss players like Nick Chubb, who's not retired, but coming off of an injury, and let's see what happens, man, look no further than AIDAN Robbins. I have a lot to say about this young man. I did a super deep dive, and hopefully I do him a little bit of justice in this video. As you guys can see on the side of my screen here, I have some highlights playing. He went to 3 schools. He went to Louisville, from Louisville originally, okay, from Louisville, Kentucky. Went over to UNLV, over out in Vegas. He balled out. His best year over there, check this out, guys, 1,009 yards, 125 receptions, 1 touchdown for receiving, and 9 touchdowns on the ground. Unfortunately, he's coming off of a rib injury because he did eventually transfer to BYU. We actually, even though he had half the stats, he balled out. He balled out, and against better competition. Had a rib injury that kept him out of some games, unfortunately. But I like this guy a lot. Check this out. His RAS score was actually pretty good. It was 6.64, okay? And I want to talk about his personality because let's be honest, who you are as a person, it matters. Comes from a very loving family. And this is a guy who his dad loves him so much. He wanted to put him in the best situation possible. I watched a video with him, and he was talking about his son, and to see his face light up. And that is how you raise a son. That is how you raise a young man. The dude has a ear-to-ear type smile, and that's his personality as well, too. Very positive. This is a guy that the Cleveland Browns are definitely going to take and benefit from. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to read his scouting report. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm reading the scouting report, some ridiculous stuff in there. You ever had a teacher back in school and you feel like, man, I got an A-, I got a B+, but she just wants to give you a hard time, and you're fighting for a C+. You're fighting to even get a C sometimes, you know. That's how I felt that this scouting report was. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the strengths. Robbins has one of the biggest frames at the position in the country and plays to his massive size. Booming downhill back that punishes arm tacklers who don't have the momentum to help interrupt Robbins' movement. Goes on to say, knows his strengths and weaknesses as a runner and doesn't try to be something he's not. That I disagree with. Because I feel we haven't saw a ceiling yet, personally. Oh, and then I failed to mention, he's 6'3", 240. Hot damn, this guy's big. Let's continue. He's fast enough to sprint through the crease on the gap and outside zone rushes, creating havoc for defensive backs who get in his way. Yeah, I mean, this guy, he has a lot of DBs beat by like 40 pounds and runs faster than most of them. Says here, shows good vision on interior runs and will keep his legs churning as much as possible. It goes on to say relatively low usage in college. That's true. Yeah, I mean, first 2 years of Louisville, he didn't see the field too much. And then the weaknesses was a lot of ridiculous stuff I didn't quite agree with. Can be to boom or bust as a rusher. He lacks the feel and refined vision of high-end NFL backs. Disagree. Again, I see Brandon Jacobs. When I see him, he reminds me of Brandon Jacobs before the injury. All right, not 49ers Brandon Jacobs. I'm talking about New York Giants. I could put the team on my back when Eli Manning is cutting up Brandon Jacobs. Let me continue. Weaknesses. His lateral movements are limited to slight jukes and deeks as he can't afford to break his stride to do more. I'm just going to I'll post on the screen some weaknesses. I disagree with it, but the dude balled out, doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires, as they say. And then let's also talk about, let's talk about the big elephant in the room. One of the best running backs in the league, Nick Chubb, unfortunately injured, right? He had one of the nastiest injuries I've seen. I couldn't even find highlights of it on the internet. It may be up there now, but dude, he was in absolutely terrible shape. Absolutely terrible shape. This is a guy where I saw him work out the other day, and he's just now starting to jog kind of thing. Just from what I saw, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I eat crow on that. I want Nick Chubb, whether it's with the Browns or something else. Nick Chubb is in his final year. So likely, from a business standpoint, unless he could come at the end of the year and ball out, he's probably going to go to another team or retire. I don't know. But they have Jerome Ford. He led the Browns, 813 yards. He played very, very well for Cleveland. That was a guy I'll be honest with you, before last year, I really wasn't too familiar with Jerome Ford's game. Then there's Kareem Hunt, who is, as of right now, he's no longer on the team, but he had 411 yards. Pierre Strong Jr. with 291 yards last year, I think was his rookie year. I actually followed Pierre Strong Jr. for a whole year in college, man, and I loved his tape. That's a guy I'm expecting to maybe get 600 or 700 yards, really play more of a prominent role in this offense. Nyheim Hines coming over from Buffalo, -3 yards. Nyheim Hines is a better guy than that. He just barely got the rock in Buffalo because they're Buffalo. John Kelly had 0 yards. Not too familiar with his game, to be honest with you. And then that brings us AIDAN Robbins. Now, AIDAN Robbins is a guy, he went as an undrafted free agent, hence the name of the video, UDFA Tracker. But I want to mention that this is probably a bigger running back class than last year, so you had a lot of people sliding. I mean, for crying out loud, the Mizzou running back took and went as an undrafted free agent. You know what I mean? So a guy was coming in with just under 500 yards. He balled out, though. But you look at the size, man, 6'3", 240 pounds. He's coming in healthy, man. Does not have a history of being injury prone, which is dope. When he gets the ball, dude, he is a north-south runner. I could see him in, if it's, 4th down, you need those 3 yards. He can get you the 3 yards and put the team on his back. You run him off the edge, he's going to do some magical things. And this, if he makes the final roster, which I am so confident that he will, I could see him coming in as a running back number 3 and then earning his way up to maybe even a running back number 1 sometime this year. So he picks up everything. I see nothing but great things. But below what your expectations are for him. I think worst case scenario, let's say that he runs into some trouble. Say it could be the playbook, could be another injury, who knows. I say, hey, keep him on your practice squad, develop him, coach him up, and then, hey, week 5 or whatever it is, put him there on your active roster and let him rip, man. This is a guy who is explosive, man, and he's so grateful for every opportunity, man. I really, really enjoy that about him. So also wanted to mention, before his injury, he was a Doak Walker award-winning candidate. So again, this is a guy, he was on his way to big things. If this injury had never happened, let's be real, he's probably getting picked up around 4 or 5. Again, weird draft. There was guys who should have been around 2 get drafted and they slid to day 3. It was just a weird draft overall. So, but AIDAN is a dog, DAWG, and no, he did not play for Georgia. But comment below, let me know your thoughts, your expectations for him. I'll see you guys next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. God bless you. Do something nice for somebody. Jesus loves you. Peace. Thank you for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.